the door. Hang on a minute, you can talk.
I'm here to bring chaos and devastation to this world, as I have done with many others before.
Let me guess. You're that evil entity that evil alternate version of me was banging on about a few years ago. Honestly, I'm surprised we actually followed up on that plot point.
There is no escape for you. The end is nigh.
You bastard of a bird! Well, I guess it's about that time for me to crack open the Deus Ex Magic Fabergé egg. Hang on a minute. What the fucksicles is not working?
The egg proceeds from the bird. The bird proceeds from the egg. Do you really think you could use my own power against me?
Well, I wasn't aware of that fact, so no. Okay, plan B. I guess I have to team up against you with my, well, I hesitate to call them friends. I'm using myself as more of a work colleague, if anything, and Jeremy's just some random petty criminal that lives at the back of my garden. But anyway, we're going to stop you!
I'm afraid your associates have already been taken care of.
Boy, can you let me out of here? I want not leaving with that oversized feather duster. Anyone please help me? Can you get me a new face? I think mine's just been ripped off. Shut up, this isn't about you!
You are all trapped and defenseless. I shall leave you now to stew in fear and misery in the short time I have allotted you. Prepare for obliteration when I return.
Well, it's the end of the world. Nothing I can do about it. So what exactly am I going to do with the short amount of time I have left? I know! I'll review Baldurs Gate 3. The story takes place in the D&D setting of Faerun, where you play as either a pre-created character that you can also recruit as a party member, or as your own customised character. For said customisable character, you have a variety of options such as race, subrace, class, subclass, voice, you have background, abilities, stats, as well as body type, and a bunch of other little details from what's on your face to what's between your legs. After choosing a pre-existing character or making your custom character, you then get to customise a mysterious ally of yours, and after that you're set out into the game proper. At the beginning of the game you wake up in a pod in a giant floating tentacled spaceship thing that is being commanded and piloted by a group of tentacle octopus-headed aliens called Mind Flayers. They have infected you as well as the other recruitable characters in the beginning of the game with a larvae of theirs that eventually will transform you into one of them. You and the potential allies that you can recruit manage to escape the ship while it's being attacked by a horde of dragons, devils and another alien race called the Githyanki, which are basically just warrior space elves with yellow skin and a Voldemort-esque lack of nose. After escaping the ship before it crashes, you then head out into the world proper to head off on your adventure. I'll try to keep things as brief as I can since there are sort of a lot of alternate routes and different options and side quests and the quests of any of the characters that you can recruit as part of their storyline. Basically lots of options, but I'll just go through the main beats. One way or another, you are eventually contacted by the mysterious stranger you customised earlier, who is totally not hiding their true identity and has no ulterior motives at all, I swear. Anyway, they reveal that they're the one that's preventing the tadpoles from fully turning you, and that these tadpoles are being used by a group that worship an entity called the Absolute. You can also meet a devil by the name of Raphael, but he'll come up to be more important later. One way or another, you find out that the larvae-infected cultists have been getting these larvae from a place called Moonrise Tower, which is in a dark, dreary, cursed land. After managing to travel your way through the dangerous cursed lands and into the tower itself, you eventually enter below the tower, where you find out what's really been going on. Turns out the Absolute is a Mind Flayer Elder Brain that the acolytes of 3 evil gods are using an artifact called the Crown of Casters to control it, and therefore control anyone infected by its parasitic offspring. You engage one of the acolytes and retrieve one of the 3 crystals that said acolytes are using to control whatever is wearing the crown, and by in turn the Elder Brain. So now you'll have to set out on your journey to retrieve the 2 other crystals from the 2 other acolytes to either destroy the Elder Brain or control it for yourself. After learning that the 2 remaining acolytes are set up in the city of Baldurs Gate, you head on your journey there, but while stopping for a rest at a campsite, you're attacked by a group of Githyanki emerging from the portal. You then head through that portal into a pocket dimension where the truth about your mysterious friend is revealed. Turns out your mysterious ally is actually a Mind Flayer called the Emperor, who has managed to escape the Elder Brain's control thanks to the imprisoned prince of the Githyanki called Orpheus, whose power he's been using to keep himself and you from being under the Absolute's control. He's also disguised his true identity from you to this point because he wanted to gain your trust since, well, evil squid creature. After that revelation and the potential additional revelation that the demon Raphael also wants the crown for his own nefarious purposes, you finally arrive at the city of Baldurs Gate. About 2/3 through the game called Baldurs Gate. After heading through Baldurs Gate and taking out the other 2 acolytes and retrieving their crystals, you finally head underneath the city to confront the Elder Brain. Except the crystals no longer work, since the Crown of Casters has had the unfortunate side effects of mutating the Elder Brain into a Nether Brain. A transformation that the Elder Brain has been biding its time for it to happen. And now that it has, the crystals no longer work. And now the brain enacts its own plan to transform all of the people that have been infected with its parasitic larvae into an army of Mind Flayers that it can use to take over the world!
Of course!
So now you and whatever other party members and allies you may have made during your trip launch a final assault against the Nether Brain and its horde. And after subduing the Nether Brain in whatever way you prefer, you then have an epilogue that wraps up all the loose ends. Speaking of which, that's the end. The game is a top-down, third-person, turn-based RPG that lets you wander around freely while you're out of combat. But when you're in combat, you have a certain limit on how far you can move, the amount of abilities you can use, the amount of attacks you can make, and the amount of actions you can perform. Each enemy and ally in an encounter has their own turn, and as you level up you gain new abilities, attacks and actions. Although that doesn't really happen that often since the game only has a maximum level of 12, so it sort of spaces itself out a bit. And you can obtain items, weapons, apparel and ingredients either from picking them up around the world or buying them at a shop. Your standard. You can also interact with different characters, and some of them have multiple dialogue options. And some of said dialogue options have a sort of dice-based mechanic that determine your level of success at what you're trying to accomplish. This sort of mechanic is also used in some other out-of-combat activities and interactions. And some encounters, both in and out of combat, can change depending on your class, race, background and abilities. You can also change your class or even your appearance within your encampment. And you can even sort of hire people to temporarily join your party. Well, if you've managed to find the right character that allows you to do those things anyway. Overall, the gameplay tries to be as close to its Dungeons and Dragons roots as possible, without coming across as too inconvenient or obtuse about it. The game's graphics are pretty impressive, even among other games that came out around about that same time. Admittedly, nothing too cutting edge or wow, but it's definitely still impressive and vibrant. Many, if not all, the areas and characters feel memorable one way or another. The whole game feels very immersive when you play through it, and its art style and aesthetic is definitely a take on the Dungeons and Dragons, if not the fantasy genre of the whole, that you can instantly recognise. And as for the music, well, it certainly has a lot of variety to it. Some of them come off as more of having a Viking-esque vibe, or others have a sort of more of the Lord of the Rings-esque feel. There are tracks that have a more Celtic/folkish theme, while others are more grand and orchestrated pieces. Some of the pieces use a lot of harps to add some atmosphere, and others have a lot of choral-based pieces and songs. Also, there's this weird, almost classic Disney-esque villain song that Raphael sings if you choose to fight him. I'd say this soundtrack is worth giving a purchase on your own, but in case you need more convincing, here's a bit of a sample I prepared.
Hell has its laws. Hell. Effect and the cause. Curtain falls, but hold your applause. Squirm, for now down here come the claws.
Okay, sample over. Now for my final thoughts. What can I say about this game that hasn't already been said by so many others? It's really good, great, magnificent, a masterpiece even, some might say. And whatever flaws I or many others could find could either be lumped up to nitpicking or just not fitting one's personal taste. With a combination of a mostly straightforward story but with a lot of variety and alternate routes in it, its mixture of interesting and memorable characters, vibrant visuals and immersive world, enjoyable music, as well as callbacks and references to the previous games, that while enjoyable for those that have actually played or experienced those games, also don't feel forced down your throat for the sake of nostalgia. Heck, I wouldn't even say you need to know much about Dungeons and Dragons itself to enjoy this game. And the combination of character customization and branching story options also gives this game a lot of replay value as well. So whether you're a newcomer, a fan of the previous games, or even a general Dungeons and Dragons fan, or heck, even just a general fantasy fan as a whole, I'd say you'll probably enjoy this game and it's probably worth adding to your basket. Well, at least I would say that if the world wasn't about to end. Damn it. If only there was some way to defy the inevitable. If only there was something that could go against any creature, natural or supernatural. Wait a minute. I have an idea. Oi, Rod Hole's hand warmer, can you come down here for a sec?
What? Have you come to beg for mercy? Pathetic.
Oh, I'm not here to beg. I'm here to stop you because I have this. You know, I don't really know why I still have this thing. I guess I just thought it would be useful for something for some reason.
Do you really think that cheap plastic excuse for an instrument can stop me?
No, but I'm guessing that this thing will be loud enough and annoying enough to attract the attention of the thing that will.
God, what is this thing?
Ah, It doesn't matter how powerful of a cosmic entity you are. You still can't overcome a honey badger, 'cause honey badgers don't give a fuck. Well, that's him dealt with. Another world-ending scenario prevented. Although now, I think the magic Fabergé eggs now could put. Oh well. Time to let the gruesome twosome out. Are you two alright in there? Yeah, I'm alright. Surprisingly, this is even the first time I've been kidnapped. At least I wasn't taken to an island this time.
I think the bleeding stopped. Can
Shut up, you!
someone please call me an ambulance?
Well, that's good to hear, I guess. I'm gonna call the ambulance for you, and Jeremy, you do whatever the fuck you usually do.
Now hope is gone, or so